everyone, welcome to our live webinar today. This live hosted by Advantech Service RT Group on the topic post-COVID, digitalization for retail industry and food and beverage market. My name is Wasikasa Sicily. I will be the moderator today, and I'm seeking for your cooperation to make this webinar successful. Now, I would like to go through the rules today with all of you. During this live sharing, please cooperate with me. First, please mute your microphone during the conversations. For your questions and comments, please write down in the chat room and we can interact there. The second rule is, please do not interrupt the other participants by any Microsoft Teams functions. And the last, I will be very appreciated if you can take a few minutes to fill out the survey and the link is in the chat room here. Well, these are the only 3 rules we have, and I'd love to have your cooperation for following 1 hour. And you can text me your support via the chat room right now. I would like to say thank you to everyone again. Today, I see the partners across Southeast Asia is joining us on the post-COVID-19 transformation opportunities sharing. I see the partners from Taiwan, Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia. And I also see the participants from Indonesia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and India. This is so exciting and welcome again. Now, let me proceed the webinar by briefing on the 4 experts from Advantech Service RT Group today. As we may know, we have Wesley Liu, our director in charge for ICT service in our region, not only the business itself, but also in charge for innovative products to serve the retail market. Besides, we have well-experienced Mr. Matthew Chin, also the GM from Advantech Thailand, to share his insights on this post-COVID situation and potential opportunities. We also have the ICT Service Sales Manager, Mr. Joel Wong from Singapore. He faced the direct impact from Singapore reopening and made the second wave of COVID-19 in Singapore. I think he can share more precautions the government and retail operators should be careful. And last, we have the Business Development Manager from Headquarter, Ms. Grace Liu. As everyone knows, Taiwan is doing a very good job in fighting COVID. There is over 12 days the no new cases reported in Taiwan till today. Grace can share more transformations being taken in Taiwan with Advantech solutions and how we help the retail industry maintain between business and preventions from COVID. Now, it's time I have to pass the ownership to Wesley. He can tell us from global stage that how Advantech be transformed to suit the COVID-19 situation, as well as the solutions implemented across global, accompanying decisions from government, helping partners and retailers across the globe in reopening the economy with technologies. Welcome Wesley to share with us during this tough time.
It is really a tough time to all of us. So I will use this quote to start my presentation. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Okay, so during these couple months, Advantech, we are keep looking for various ways to see what Advantech can help for this to help people fight against COVID-19. Okay, and during these couple months, Advantech's products actually are being widely adopted by many entities in various applications that help people fight against COVID-19. So you can see in Asia, Fangchang Hospital in China, our products are used for medical data transmission, blood analyzer control, and the ventilator control, and also for some medical devices like ultrasound, thermographic devices. And for EMEA region, our products are used for medical AI research regarding COVID-19 research, and also to monitor the quarantine patients. In America, US government use our products for nurse call systems in some hospitals, and also for some access control. Okay, so you can see during these couple months, Advantech product has been used widely to help people against the COVID-19. But what about the post-COVID-19? When retail and the food and beverage industries are gradually recovering, what Advantech can help? As you may know, besides these AIoT hardware, we've been developing AI and the remote monitoring solutions for a while. So the next three speakers will give you some details of it, such as the video AI-based infection prevention solution for example, like the infection tracking system, the visitor fever screening system, and the occupancy monitoring system. And also for the facial recognition. Okay. Okay, for the facial recognition solution. Also, the remote management is also one of our developed application for retail and the F&B market. Okay. So next, I will introduce Matrix to go through our first solution. Please go ahead, Matrix.
Thank you, Wesley. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Please show my slide. Next page. Okay, next page. Good morning, everyone. So this is wonderful that we have many partners, okay, that around the Southeast Asia is joining us. So they are from the Singapore, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from Vietnam, and Philippines. So today our topic is towards the automated, for my topics, I will talk about the automated AI facial recognition and thermal sensing in helping to control the social distancing and COVID-19 screenings. Next page, please. So while we're talking about the post-COVID, actually we are setting a common ground understanding, okay, amongst all of us first. The COVID pandemic is not going to gone, okay, as long as we didn't have the right vaccine or cure. So how we are talking about the post-COVID situation, I think we are more focusing on how we can balance between the commercial activity like the business or the factories reopenings, and also at the same time we need to take the COVID precaution procedures. So this is the biggest focus and responsibility at the government, especially in the disease control departments. So in most of the country in Southeast Asia, they are actually trying to reopening. So Singapore trying to reopening the first, and Malaysia is coming to reopen by the end of this month, and Thailand is actually starting to engage to reopen more and more service and also the retail hospitality industry phase by phase. Okay, so Vietnam is already reopened in the 1st of May this month, and we see while they are reopening, then the government take a lot of responsibility and also a big pressure to ensure how to control the COVID spread. So the coming of the COVID or the pandemic spread, it can be coming wave by wave. Okay, it can become to second wave, third wave, when we are not doing a good balance between the detection and also between the secure. So the government, they have to be take the pressure and to restrict. Okay, so their restrict is focusing on the spread, how to prevent the spread of the COVID, and also the traceable of the COVID case. When they found a confirmed case, they are able to traceable, okay, so they can take further action. So without these two things, eventually none of the country can be reopening the economy and resume back the commercial or also the business activity. So in these terms, we are in this time we are talking about the new normals most of the times. Okay, can you go back to the previous slide? I would like to share about some of the situation that we see in the retails. Okay, so I will see that the traceable and also the traceable and also the automate, okay, on the post-COVID situation is really important, that it can help a very good optimization on the user experience in retail or food and beverage industry. Okay, so eventually, first we try to use, okay, some technologies things, okay, from the technology that we have, especially in Advantech. You can see that current situation is you need to have a long queue, okay, of when you want to enter to a shopping mall or even you want to enter to a restaurant, because the reason is the government requests that all the business entity to screening the fevers before entry and also doing the QR code scanning and scan out. So it make a lot of the inconvenience to the people, but people is accepting now. And I would say this is a lot of manual jobs. So even you enter to a shopping mall, while you need to enter to certain shop, like the cases in Louis Vuitton below, they still have to be re-scanning again or checking, detecting the fevers again, because the business entity themselves, they also take the responsibility, or they also want to minimize the risk that any of their customer is actually infected. While the other things we look at the other around is after the manual fever detection, there are no control within a common space in the shopping mall. So eventually everybody is talking about social distancing, but sometimes people are too enjoy on shopping, so they are actually probably may not really strictly follow. The feeling is different. So coming to the next slide, Advantech is actually have been invited to share or to working on some solution. Okay, especially take the Taiwan as a very good example case. They are maintained over 12 days or 13 days today. It's a zero new case infected in Taiwan. And how the government is actually can achieve that is we are a lot of cooperation from the business entity and also all the buildings owner, all the business is actually cooperating with the Taiwan government. So they are inviting Advantech to realize some of the automate or digitalized system in their premise. So here, most of the famous one is the fever screening managers, where we can detect the people in 20 or 30 people at the same time, then we can know who are actually easily to detect. Okay. Then we also have the infection tracking system, ITM, that we can roughly know where the people is actually going to stay and also the people around them at that time. And we also doing the occupancy monitoring system that to control at the same time or at the times how many people should allow to enter to a premise or restaurant. Okay. Last but not least, we are actually having a new solution using the AI using the camera to detect that the distance between two human bodies. So for that, we can create an alert. However, there are no much further system that can be enforce people to maintain the social distancing. But with this system, we have a good recording and also more activity can be executed, like education or rewarding programs to encourage the people always keep in mind to maintain the social distancing. Next page, please. So first, let me give me a little bit time that I would like to brief more for fever towards the fever screening managers. Next page, please. So the fever screening is very simple that we're having a camera CMOS sensor, and we also combine with the thermal sensors that we can only detect the heat spot from the human face. Okay, so especially at the forehead side. So from there, we can immediately to measure the temperature via the infrared scale that the data that we can be easily to compare. So this will be prevented to detect certain the other heat objects like your notebook or maybe your gaming phone or maybe your hot coffee. So we only detect on the people. Okay, and at the same time, we can detect up to 20 or 30 people at the, while we enter to the premise. And this is really a lot faster compared to a manual screening. Move to the next page, please. So here is the outlook for the FSM. We call it fever screening managers. So eventually, you can see the people is on the entrance. People can see themselves, and people want to know what is actually the temperature also when they enter to the shopping mall or to the premise. So if there is a fever, people is detected, then it will give an immediate alert. Okay, you can see at the second at the two highlight there. Okay, while we also having all the history trace, okay, of these people when we're detecting when they're entering to the premise. So eventually, if there is a visitor that is no register or there is non-recorded okay visitor, then it will actually automatically assign a visitor ID, and this ID can be useful for us to trace in the next system. Okay, so if there is a validate employee or staff, okay, so we can direct to show their name or even their employee ID. Okay, so this is a GUI for the fever screening manager. Move on to the next page, please. So this is the architecture. Eventually, we only use one camera, okay, with one FSM box will do. Okay, so the difference between the manual fever screening is the manual fever screening have never keep any record, so they just scan your forehead and then okay, you are passed to go. Or some even better system, they use some kiosks that to detect the fever and then also give and go. So it's usually seldom having a record. Okay, and that will actually unable to trace back, especially when we want to combine with the facial recognition system. Okay, so the next I want to talk about the facial recognition age, FRE. Okay, so before that, there is a three package or three version. Okay, different level of complexity of the FSM. Okay, so the most basic one is just detect the fever and then show you that whether these people are fever or not. Okay, at the same time. So the standard version, we will have the result update and also the retesting. So the fever screening is not only trying to find out the people, but it's actually adding a more precaution procedure. So in case we suspecting someone is fever, we eventually still need to do a further test, okay, at the security room or more safer quarantine space. Okay, so at the pro version, we actually can have combined with the facial recognition that towards the employee or registered or unregistered customer. Okay, so eventually we can have all this record keep in hands. Okay, while there is a incident happen, then we can easily to trace back. Move on to the next slide, please. So we have multi-site that is able to combine, like if there is a shopping mall or there is a restaurant with a larger size, or even there is a factories, we can easily to have a different gate. So we can take a one FSM Pro up to 4 camera, 4 channel. So 4 camera spread into 4 gate, and then we can have the all the server or FSM, all the FSN to show the connect to the same server, infection prevention control center. Okay, so more than 1 gate is not a big issue, and 1 box can be served up to 4 doors. Please move to the next slide, please. So for doing the fever screening is actually very hot topics, everyone knows, and actually there is a lot of places we can use, and the purpose is not towards just to find out the fevers people, but eventually is trying to improve the experience that we not need to have a long queue. Also, we can have the record for the operator. And example that we have already done, all these pictures are real pictures that we taken, especially most of them are in Taiwan, and some we actually have some test pilot in Thailand, and also Malaysia is going to implement some of the test pilot site. Okay, so the metro station is the first place, and central library, bank, okay, hospital is a immediate need now, and office lobby, office location, retail store, and the most is a commercial building, because the commercial building own the responsibility for all their rental in their business offices, so they can help all the rental people, rental company to do a good precaution, okay, to avoid the whole building shut down. Okay, move to the next slide, please. So that is about the FSN, and now we are talking about the infection tracking system, ITM. Next slide, please. So the infection tracking system by facial recognition. This is really, we can matching one people at 2 or 3 places, okay, at 1 premise. So eventually we can actually detect the people, okay, no matter in shopping mall or no matter in a commercial building, and we can not necessary to have the camera all around, but as long as we know there is usually there is a common places that there will be a security camera, then we can more or less knowing the places that these people have been visited, okay, during the time he visited in the shopping mall. Okay, so example below there is actually a shopping mall in Thailand, and we know there is a few camera. One is at the entrance, one is in the supermarket entrance, and the others is in the common places and the exit. So these places we know, as long as we detect these faces, then we know he has ever been there. And at the same time, we also can know the people around him. Okay, there is in the list, there will be a list of visitor. Okay, at that time we can find out and figure out the people that probably have a close contact with him. So move to the next slide, please. So here will be the architecture. We will require a facial recognition edge. Okay, it's more or less same as the previous architecture, but this time we can combine, or we can eventually use only the facial recognition edge, FRE. So the difference is only on the ITM. There is an infection tracking manager that we will be grab all the videos and analyze data and do a summary report, okay, in the ITM. Okay, move on, please. So the next system I would like to sharing is the occupancy monitoring system, OMS. So next slide, please. This is a giving by the request that people, some government is actually requesting at the same time, at one time, there are only a limited people can be visited into that places. Example, there are 10 people rules. Okay, any shop that they cannot have 10 people in some place, some province. Okay, so this means they need to control at the same time. Like you can see the Louis Vuitton LV shop just now. Why the long people queuing there? Because they want to maintain even only 5 people at the same time they can enter to the shop. Okay, to ensure a very good shopping experience. So the occupancy monitoring system is very simple, that we are actually monitoring, counting how many people is enter to the premise, okay, and then we will show on the digital signage, okay, and we will having an alert whether it's allowing or not allowing people to enter. Next slide, please. So again, I would like to talk about the architecture. So this architecture is a little bit more complicated. While we have a OMS as a center, and we need a signage, okay, in each door. So every door will have a signage that to showing that whether this is how many people is actually enter the premise and how many is allowed, and at the same time is whether currently is allowed to enter or not. So this can be doing a lot of automate jobs. Okay, next slide, please. So here, some people are concerning about whether there is a single door or multi-doors. No problems, because we are all connected via the networks. The architecture will be slightly a little bit different, because we will require more signage at each door. But the system can be run still remain the same. Okay, move on. Next slide, please. Social distancing, social distance monitoring. This is actually the most helpful system for me. Okay, but it is going to be ready by July. Okay, so no matter in the public space or no matter it's in the indoors, I always want to see the people is maintaining the social distancing even in my office. So people are always forgetting when they are focusing in doing some job or when they are enjoying the holidays. So detecting and having an alert, this can be helped to see whether the situation in our premise or in our location is serious or not. Okay, so we can detect the people in the real time and see they are close or not, and we can using detect the human body and also measuring about the distance. So we can always calibrate, okay, in the SDM. Next slide, please. So some people said maybe 2 feet is 6 feet is too far. Maybe we can maintain in 3 feet. It is fine. We can change that. And from the architecture here and also the example cases here, you can see in the office environment. So when there are people always keep closing, then we know the office environment is probably lost control. So we will need to highlight with HR to do some educate program or probably some memos or probably some restriction rules. Move on, next slide, please. So this is also useful for the public space and for the government to control in the common places like the pedestrians way and also the shopping mall. Okay, so that's all for my sharing today. I would like to have Joel that is sharing more cutting edge. I think this is a more new, innovative material and technologies. So welcome, Joel. Hi, Joel, are you there?
Hi, Matrix, can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, but a little bit low. You can try to shout. Good to see you over here.
Is it better now, my sound?
Very, very much better. Okay, I pass it to you now. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm sorry for the disruption. So I'm Joel from Advantech Singapore, and good to see everybody here. Now, I see the world going through 3 phases during the pandemic. The first is simply responding to the immediate impact through lockdown and closures of my favorite bubble tea and McDonald's. Then we come recovery. I think some of the country already started to open up slowly, and Singapore will be existing our circuit breaker coming 1st June. So in the last phase itself, I call that the reimagine phases. We are going to see lots of innovation born out of necessity during the previous 2 phases. Now, we have invited all of you here today to update you on our solutions and product, and hopefully this will invoke your imaginations for new ideas. Next slide, please. So what's the new normal going to be like in the F&B industry? Number one, food hygiene will take priority over the taste and efficiency. For many years, restaurants have been looking for ways to improve, to be more efficient and improve the taste of their food. But now, restaurants will have to go the extra mile to reflect their hygiene standard and show that their restaurant is a safe place for people to gather. Number two, restaurants will have to redesign their menu to shift from an on-premise to off-premise consumption through delivery or pick up by the guests, and look into ways to make them more transport friendly. And third, we're going to see more and more self-service by the customer itself. A restaurant should consider technology for customer to pull up the menu on their own mobile devices, as well as to look to leverage e-menu board technology wherever possible. Now, they also have to adopt cashless, contactless, or self-checkout, self-service kiosks in the days moving forward. So, to safely resume operations, business need to reimagine the experience they will be offering to their customer. Next slide, please. So this is an example of our self-service kiosk. Right. So is a slide available? So this is an example of our self-service kiosk, mini kiosk 15.6 inch, weight about 5 kilogram, support both the Android and Windows operating system. And we offer diversified payment options, bracket to hold your EMV reader, and NFC reader, a 2D barcode scanner for your QR code payment, and the 3D camera for your face scans payments. So touchless solutions eliminate to be physically engaged, and this promotes social distancing by reducing face-to-face interaction. Next slide, please. So Advantech itself, we offer a wide range of products. From the left, we have our mobile tablets, the 8-inch devices, with our accessories, a portable accessory like barcode, MSR reader, built-in thermal printer, to our UPOS USC and UTC devices, where we have our Valo scan, our Kangaroo scan. It sells to customize, and for customers who want to design their own kiosk system, we can also offer our UTC 200 open frame series, and we also have our integrated kiosk system from a UTK 500 and 700 series, our UTK 615, the mini kiosk, and even for the rugged outdoor kiosk devices. Next slide, please. So we also offer our all-in-one in a full IP65 with a whole stainless steel, with M12 I/O ports for a full IP65 system. Where we say full, we mean the front and the back. And you're allowed to operate in a wide temperature range from -10 degrees to 50 degrees. This is especially helpful in area when you are using in a wet area such as a kitchen or in area that is very safety. Now, for the benefit of those who not aware of the IP rating, I just take a short time to explain what is the IP rating. So the IP rating designates the degree of protection and enclosure provided against the ingress of foreign object. So the first digit, the IP6 will talk about the protections against solid object. There will be dust. Then the second digit, the number 5 itself will designate the protection against water. So if you get ideas about what IP65 is talking about, we talk about dust mite, and for IP5, check from all directions. Next slide, please. So since 2014, so Advantech has been working with Cornering Gorilla Glass to introduce the Antimicrobial all-in-one system to our product series. So as a standard product itself, Advantech has 2 models of a product, the UTC 515, the 15-inch, and the UTC 520 that have the Gorilla Glass with antimicrobial features inside our all-in-one systems. So the cornering Gorilla Glass is produced by incorporating silver ion into the touchscreen itself. So this is a fanless design and reduces the spread of bacteria. It is rugged and robust with the IP65 front-rated bezel. It's only IP65 for the front. And we have the long-lasting antimicrobial efficacy because the component is actually fused into the touchscreen itself. And this is the true flat touchscreen surface, so it's easy for you to clean. And for Gorilla Glass, the surface hardness is 9H. Comparing to other touchscreen, usually a normal touchscreen is about 7H. So a Gorilla Glass gives you a tougher touchscreens in this sense. Next slide, please. So Advantech, when we start our design, we also always build our design to build for customizations. So this is an example of our UTK blow-up drawing. So when you look into the design itself, we give options to our customers by incorporating different peripherals, such as our 2D, NFC reader, and as much as possible, we utilize standard, such as standard vessel mounting, so that it is easier for our customers to find mounting from the open markets. Next slide, please. So this is also an example of one of our customers in Singapore itself, and how easily we can upgrade our existing USC 250, which is a POS system. We have a highly extendable capability for you to add in different peripherals, such as barcode scanner, EMV payment terminals, and choosing a second display with different sizes from a 10-inch to a 15-inch itself. A typical POS system can be upgraded and enhanced into a cell customer ordering system. Next slide, please. So I think today's sales, digital signage is a very important component, especially after post-COVID. Why? Every visit by your customer is important right now. So Advantech signage software, we have the WiPass signage software. They help business connect and control screen over the internet. What it does is here itself, you see different devices from single display, a single TV, all the way to 1 to 6 display, multiple TV. What you need to do is just to get the player hooked up to a TV, and it can be transformed into a very interactive digital signage. I think at point of time now, it is very important to make your signage interactive. Example of it is that you can always make the signage as a self-payment. You can start to push out your ready menu to the customers using QR code for ordering and payment, and easily also control and update content through your mobile devices. Next slide, please. So this is also one of the areas sales that our customers has deployed using AI, and perhaps this is also time for our customer and our partner to unleash your imaginations. Self-checkout corporates with AI can be applied to different areas. In this example, a bakery, customer can easily do the self-checkout by themselves without staff to assist them. The next slide, please. So we know that it's important to clean your touch screen. So from CDC guideline, if you cannot find any instruction from the manufacturer, you can always use the alcohol-based wipe or swipe containing at least 70% alcohol to clean your touch system. And for customer who is using Advantech product, do check with us on the cleaning recommendations, and we will be helpful to assist you on that. Right, this comes to the end of my presentations, and probably I will let my colleagues Grace to share with you on our remote management store solutions. I will hand over the time to Grace.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Hello, everyone. This is Grace. Good day, and thank you. We have total more than 200 people with us. So Today my topic is how to manage your chain stores and chain restaurants during the post-pandemic era. So I know a lot of countries now getting back on track in the post-pandemic situations. So in the previous sessions, I'm glad that Matrix introduced the automatic body temperature screening, which we suggest for implementing in all of the restaurants and shops with zero touch as a good IoT technology for supporting. The second one, I'm glad that Joel also introduced the zero bacteria and zero virus environment for protecting your dining restaurant and shopping areas. Last one I would like to introduce is how to use the remote management as an efficient tool to manage your chain stores. So we have a brand called StoreView to manage the complete store chain management. So here is a SOP flow that we all know for the chain store or chain restaurant, like the bubble milk tea shop. Usually, for example, in the more than 100 chain store or restaurants, there should be a supervisor as a middle management level to manage, one supervisor to manage or monitor more than 5 or 20 shops in a row. But they don't have enough time every day to do on-site visits. And of course, this happens usually that each supervisor, they will communicate with their existing franchisee partners or customers with daily question problems through Line app, through WhatsApp, or through WeChat. But those tools, those social media platforms, they cannot recognize or they cannot have historical data or share the experience from A franchisee to B franchisee. So that's why we have this tool called StoreView for the easy management. It's actually a simple app generated or software developed by Advantech in-house design team. So this StoreView app is already implemented in several bubble milk tea chain shops or cafes in mainland China, Taiwan, ASEAN, and other countries. So in this platform, for the management app, we provide several functions, including the on-site patrol, remote patrol, and transaction monitoring to see whether there is any abnormal transactions through the existing CCTV surveillance systems. And finally, of course, we will generate the patrol and the transaction reports for both of the supervisor, the staff, and also the supervisor and headquarters. So right now I'm going to give you an abbreviation of how to set up the post-pandemic inspection SOP during this post-pandemic era. So you can see very clearly that we also support the web portal interface with the system setting on our on-site patrol part. Usually, what our customer right now do is they will set up the infection prevention SOP. Like the first one, they want to know whether each store staff is wearing the face mask on every day when they are on duty. Second, if the sanitizers are provided and well refilled and placed at the entrance places every day. Third, you can set up one of the SOP as if you implement the solution as what Matrix just suggested in the first session. If the fever camera turning on and also functionally screening all the employees or the visitors when they enter your restaurants or shops. The last one is usually some of our restaurant customers, they will check whether the table and seat surface is disinfected every hour. So I'm saying that this kind of SOP you can self-define by yourself and simply by keying the text message on the app backend system. And plus, you can place a different kind of scorecard on each SOP. So this is one example of what our customer is currently setting up on the StoreView platform. So on this app, we will see the detailed functions Actually, if your shops or restaurants already having the CCTV system, you don't need to purchase any CCTV from us. Actually, our platform, the software, will integrate with your existing CCTV systems as well. And the function is actually, for example, on the on-site patrol function, we can do the record the store's conditions, either by taking the photo, or when the supervisor is on site today, they can use the voice message to record what is happening right now. For the remote patrol, if they want to see any image or videos from the certain store through the CCTV integrations, they can replay or see what is happening right now. So for example, at this restaurant or cafeteria, they see the surface of the post counter is too messy. So they will create an event and make some notes to let the staff on site on duty today to know why he or she need to react right now. So aside from the remote and on-site patrol, I mentioned about creating an abnormal event, right? So once the supervisor creates the event, the staff or the manager of that store will receive an exception event immediately, and they will use on this app to communicate with the supervisor as well. So how do they react with this event? And both the supervisors and also the manager of the store are able to track all of the events that are created by both parties. And if you see any abnormal event that you want to see more clearly, we are able to replay the video through the CCTV to trace the history data of that event. So here is a slide introducing of the patrol overview. So imagine that a supervisor needs to manage or control 20 shops or 20 restaurants per day. He needs to know immediately in 1 second which restaurant having more issues today. I need to help them immediately as my priority. So this kind of patrol reports is actually helping the supervisors to manage remotely for his or her 20 shops more easily and with prioritized items. So as you can see the second screenshot, the report details, we will mark all the scorecard of each SOP or checking patrol items set up or self-defined by the supervisors. And by the end, we generate the patrol statistics of each SOP of the tracking item. For example, one of the items shows that there's more requires improved for 50%, and it point out one of the shops which perform in the low level, and they will recheck what happened in that shops immediately. And also this kind of report helps the supervisor to check if we are setting reasonably of the checking SOP. So this is another example for the patrol reports of the abnormal transactions. So the third function I mentioned for the transaction monitoring, we are not only monitor the whole transaction period, but we use the AI technology to automatically detect if the transaction is being abnormal or not. For example, how do we do it? Right now, you see there are two people standing in the post counter, and there is no customer standing in front of the POS. If that time there is some transaction happened during this image, we detect there is no person, no human body shape in front of the POS. We will consider maybe this could be an abnormal transaction activities, because if there is no customer standing in front of the POS, how could there is any event happening in the POS terminals? So we will see this as an abnormal event, transaction event, and generate output to the supervisor. So they will see immediately, and also they can audit and confirm whether this is a confirmed stealing case or it's a false alarm. Aside from the app, For the headquarters as well, we have this web portal for better performance reports as well. So the store view platform is actually able to set up the different admin role for the store manager, supervisor, and also the high-level headquarter teams. So for the headquarter part, on the web portal, they are able to see multiple chain stores or restaurants and what is being inspected, what is being checked today, and what has been, what kind of events or not be performing well among all of the 100 shops. So this kind of tool is actually helping the big chain group, restaurant or shops to manage their all the stores more efficiently. So this will be my today's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Hi, I'm Grace Zhang in Taiwan, and now we will go on to the Q&A section. If anyone have some question, please leave in our chat box.
Well, I think not much people left the question there, except those already answered by Grace Liu. So we remaining still no question popping up. However, I think we will have a more insight, and also we will share about the slide and also the recording of today's with you afterwards, sent to your email. So I think we are going to end the live show very soon. If there is still be no question, and probably we want to thank Wesley, Joel, Grace, and every one of you that already finished for the live talk today. So we will keep on engaged with you afterwards, and thank you for your time. Don't forget to give us some feedback. Okay, the question area is only 2 to 3 or even 5 questions. So please spend just 1 minute to complete it, and we will know how is your feeling and how is your comments. Okay, afterwards. Thank you very much from me. All right, thank you.
Yes. For please find the link in the chat room. I will be very appreciated if you can help me. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you, Sandy.